RotoGrinders. Welcome to the NFL Pre-Lock Show here on RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHd. BlenderHD, if you want to follow me on Twitter. Joined by Tim Buell, TastefulTides, if you want to follow him. And we're going to be going over the Raiders and the Chiefs. Monday Night Football. Oh, this sounds like 51.5 total. Maybe we'll actually get a good game today. If you want a good game, the only way we could get a good game finally tonight is if you give the thumbs ups. Give me the thummy thumbs, right? The more thummy thumbs, the more points get scored in the Monday Night Football game. And feel free to like and subscribe. Do all the things. Hit the buttons. Hit the notification bell. Tim, I also, not only does it seem to be a possibly entertaining game, I love Chiefs on showdown slates because a lot of guys are viable. Like I like the games where like the production isn't as condensed, so there's more viable options for you to build lineups around.
Yeah, it's not condensed at all. We know that Patrick Mahomes loves to spread the ball around, and it's just I think there's going to be a lot of places that you can get production from. A lot of different ways you can play the captain spot tonight. So I think it's a really great GPP slate.
Inactives news: Ronald Jones inactive again. I don't think that matters that much. And then Foster Moreau is inactive, so he was questionable. So that obviously, the Foster Moreau being out again, obviously secures more snaps for Darren Waller. And then at the second tight end, is it going to be the Raiders typically run 3 wide receiver sets, but when they do a second tight end with Moreau out, I'm assuming like Jesper Horsted will get that role. I mean, it's just another dude that could score a touchdown, and there's a lot of down underneath the kickers and the defenses. There are a lot. I mean, the fact that we have multiple people that project for more than 1 point underneath the kickers and defenses means that I'm playing those guys, and if recent trends continue, the kickers and the defenses are just going to just smash me in the face, right?
Yeah, I really hope that the defenses and kickers don't win anything tonight, because I considered the Chiefs kicker, but that's about it. I did not consider either defense. So if they ended up scoring 2 defensive TDs, then primetime is just dead. I mean, these primetime games have been so defense kicker heavy, and I'm not thinking that's going to be the case tonight.
I'm way under on Matthew Wright, like way. I have 57 lineups. He may be in 2 of them, or may not even be in any. I'm not even sure. For 2 reasons. One, I think these kickers are going over-owned. I mean, it's always recency bias. Oh, kickers are always in the winning lineup. Okay, they get over-owned. Also, the Chiefs go for it on 4th down more than I think most teams in the league, and they trust Harrison Butker. They had Matt Amendola. They have Matthew Wright. It seems like even on a 53-yard attempt on 4th and 2, they're more likely to just go for it there anyway. Like I feel like is media projections fine because extra points, whatever. I mean, 7 points. At 4K, we have so many people under here that could score a touchdown and score 7 points on one pass. That, I mean, if he's going to be 24, if he's going to be in a quarter of the lineups, I'd much rather take a shot on these single-digit owned guys than play kickers. I mean, I'm more likely to play one of the defenses, I guess, and hope for a pick 6, like the Chiefs defense on Derek Carr. So, my first thought on this slate was I'm going to be way under on the kickers, probably under on the defenses, and it's weird for me to say my top play, the guy that's in more lineups than that's not a quarterback, because the quarterbacks always get into lineups, is Hunter Renfrow at 5,800, because he's coming back from the concussion protocol, and he's always been a possession receiver here. Devontae Adams often gets bracket coverage. I think people look at, he's coming back from an injury. He's not really coming back from an injury. He's coming back from a concussion. It's not like he had an ankle injury or something that limits his ability to actually play football. It's a matter of, can he can he recite a sheet or something 3 straight days in a row so he can clear the concussion protocol? Are you more likely with like me? I have more Raiders exposure than I have Chiefs exposure, only for the reason that the Raiders production is so much more concentrated than the Chiefs production that I'm not really all in on like any of the Chiefs guys, and I'm way under on Travis Kelce at 10-8 because the lineups that you can make with Travis Kelce just like run into duplication issues so much. I know you play less lineups than I do. I mean, I'm playing 57 lineups, 55 large field, 2 in the 222, which is still 2,500 entries. So it's not like as small as yours. But do you in your main lineup? I mean, are you playing 3 Raiders at least, if not 4?
I'm playing 1.
1? Oh, so
Yep.
you're on the other side of the you're on the other side.
Yep.
You're on a Chiefs, 38-3 type of game.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah. I'm doing a Mahomes captain with all of his wide receivers, and then a Raider bring back, and you can do that actually 3 or 4 different ways. So I mean, it's not like I'm just giving out my lineup. There's different ways that you can do that, but I'm very, very bullish on the Chiefs to kind of dominate this game, and I'm hoping that it's kind of Mahomes spreads it around kind of game, not just all the Kelce, not just all the whoever. It's just going to be, touchdowns here, touchdowns there. That's the kind of script that I'm going for. And I think that I have enough lower owned pieces, or at least somewhat low owned pieces, that it's not going to be, I mean, it probably will be duped, but not to like the super high capacity.
Well,
I don't think it's
I mean, you're playing like a 200, 300 person contest, though.
Yeah, I play all the spies, all the $100 spy single entries, and then I play like a couple of the $200 single entries. So I bet it gets duped, but I don't think it's going to be like a full train of duplications.
Okay, because in my 222 entries, I have that the dupe factor on that as like 1 or 2, right? Like so much, like anywhere from 0 to 4 probably comes out. But I'm much more heavily concentrated on the Raiders, but not like Raiders like onslaughts or anything like that. The way that Mahomes spreads the ball around, if this game is I'm playing for the competitive game, right? You're playing for the Chiefs roll 'em type of game. I'm playing for a competitive, maybe 30 to 24 type of game. And if the Raiders put up that many points, like they have Devontae Adams, you have Josh Jacobs, you have Waller, you have Renfrow. I mean, really, and then you have some bit players. Then maybe you have some Matt Collins, but he's $5K, so it's not like he's cheap or anything. So I think in a competitive game, like the Raiders are more likely, it's more likely that you have 3 or 4 Raiders in your lineup, and Mahomes is the highest scoring player for his. I mean, he's 12K, but he spreads the ball around so much that like none of his receivers put up a nut score. Like one of them has a score that you kind of need to have in the flex, like Juju or MVS or something like that has, sitting there with 16 points. Mahomes has 26, but like Devontae Adams has 30 and Jacobs has 18 and Renfrow has 16. And it's like, well, MVS has a touchdown and Juju has a touchdown and Kelce has a touchdown, but he only has 16 points at 10-8. So he's not in the optimal or anything. Like I just feel like I'm fine with Mahomes. Like my 222 lineups, one of them has Renfrow and the captain with both quarterbacks. And then I also have eliminated the rule today of if Devontae Adams or Kelce is in the captain spot, that I do not need to pair him with a quarterback. Because I could easily see, think of Cooper, think of what happened last week with Cooper Kupp. I said the same thing with Matthew Stafford. Picture Adams getting there, 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Mahomes has more points than Derek Carr, right? Because Mahomes has thrown for 4 touchdowns and 350 yards, but it's been spread out, and Adams is actually the highest scoring player on the slate. and you can't fit in Adams Mahomes' car without like duplicating a million times. And vice versa with Kelsey. Kelsey goes 120 with 2 touchdowns, and then they run the ball a bunch, the Chiefs, and the car puts up 350 and 3 because they're chasing the game down 2 touchdowns. So, like a lot of times I put these rules in to, wide receiver captains always play quarterback and flex. I've done that for the cheaper guys, but for these expensive guys, I think that'll be less duplicated. Having Devontae Adams captain lineups with no car and Mahomes in there with like almost no other receivers. Like having Mahomes plus, like one of the cheap guys, Sky Moore or something like that. And like he gets there, but everything else is spread out. So like, I get what you're doing. You're doing the Chiefs onslaught. They truck them. But I think from my perspective,
that's the thing, though. That's the thing is like I'm running it back with Jacobs, and I'm kind of hoping this game stays within a possession, and that they keep using Jacobs in a bell cow role. That's kind of what I'm hoping. If I was doing like an onslaught, like the Chiefs kind of crush them, I'd run it back with Adams and go down to a guy like Sky Moore instead of the way that I'm doing it right now. See,
how do you fit that in though? Like the problem I see with those lineups is duplication. So I'm going to show it on the screen. So let's say I do play like Travis Kelce in the captain, or Mahomes in the captain. I mean, like even if Kelsey's cheaper, so let's even put him there, and then we're going to put in Adams, Mahomes, like 34-67. Like how are you without using kickers and defenses? Like what are you putting in?
I think it's pretty easy. Like you can play Noah Gray. He plays 55% of the snaps. That's not bad for $600.
Now you have 4,900 average between them. So what is it something
right?
Like,
there's a couple different ways you could go with that type of build. Like, we talked about how we don't want to play kickers, but you could, right? You could go kicker MVS,
right?
But
this lineup I feel is going to be dupe city.
I don't think so. I really don't. 5-1s aren't really that heavily utilized. I
guess not, but I
think they really aren't though. I really don't think that's going to be. Yes, will it be duplicated? Sure, but it's not going to. I don't think it's such a high rate that it's going to kill you in the long run. Like I don't think it's necessarily like a negative EV types build. I don't think 5-1s just are not. I think people get really scared of playing a 5-1.
But I think on the cheap slates, I think people aren't scared to play.
Sure. The Chiefs are a super public team. I do agree with you there. Like, that is true. But I think that there's different ways that you can do that last couple spots. Like, you don't have, like the way we did it was kind of like the safest kind of projection way to do it. But, there are other ways that you can go about doing those last 2 spots.
So you mentioned Noah Gray he's my favorite cheapie.
Yeah,
both of my 222 lineups have Noah Gray in them.
Yeah, like we have him as like 4% owned right now. I really think that's going to get steamed. I think people are going to see his his percentage of snaps and just be like he's the plug and play for under $1,000. He's only 600. Like I think that, and they use him like he is like they run plays for him. He's in red zone packages. Like, I would play him in cash games today. I know Showdown's not really a big cash game thing, but I think that he has a relatively decent projection, and I think he's relatively safe. Like, he will get opportunities to pay off that price tag.
Right, he's out there. Like, I take a look at the difference between him and, let's say, like, the other non-Jacobs Raiders running backs, like Bolden, White, Abdullah. Like, they're not out there. They're not out there.
I have no interest in the RB2s for Oakland. Even if I was making over 20 teams, I don't even know how many of those guys. Maybe I'd have a sprinkle of Bolden because sometimes he gets check down work. Maybe he'd be like the blowout running back if they got rolled in this game. But other than that, none of those guys.
How about on the other side of the ball? Do you have any interest in 4,800 Isaiah Pacheco?
See, I think he's their best, like pure, like in terms of talent, he's their best running back. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I'm not the coach, right? So they still love CEH. CEH, they love to feed CEH in the red zone. I think he had something like 6 TDs this year, something like that. Yes, that'll probably regress, but it makes me a little bit nervous going Pacheco. I wish he was a little bit cheaper. And I think he only got like 11 carries last week. So it's not like he's like a heavily utilized guy. And I'm hoping that this just for my own bias, I'm hoping that this game is more pass heavy. So I'm just, yes, in tournaments he's fine, but I'm not getting there.
How about Jerick McKinnon?
He would be a guy more likely to play today. I'm hoping that, like I said, that this game stays relatively close, and that it's still Mahomes wanting to do everything, and McKinnon is their primary, third down pass catching back. So I actually prefer for like this game script that I feel like it's going to happen tonight. I prefer McKinnon over Pacheco, even though I think Pacheco's the more talented player.
And then a group that I made that you probably should play these two guys in the same lineup, although obviously they could get there, even though they're probably not going to share the field, is McCole Hardman and Sky Moore. Yeah. Right? I mean, like, they both basically play the same role. So unless they both get big touchdowns, which obviously could happen, but they're not going to be in sets together. Right? I mean, we see that Sky Moore has got, like last week, has gotten eaten into more of Hardman. But truthfully, I mean, with Juju at 6,600 and MVS at 5,200, I almost feel like there's almost no need to play Hardman or Moore. I think they may be like kind of over-owned.
I have no interest. I certainly don't have interest in Hardman, and I don't have any interest in Watson. Sky Moore's snaps are trending upward, and that's taking away from Hardman and Watson. So I think that they kind of are giving Moore his kind of his shot, I guess you'd say. They're giving him a look. So I would take some shots on Moore, but I completely agree with you on Hardman. I have no interest in Hardman.
On the other side of the ball, with Renfrow back, is Mac Hollins a thing? Because to me, I view Mac Hollins like he should be more like 3,600 and not 5,000. If Renfrow is 5,800, but he will be out there. But most likely he's out there to kind of stretch the field a bit. So, I mean, can he catch a touchdown? Sure. But I mean, I think he's a little bit overpriced now for the role. But I mean, he'll be lower owned because of that. So, like, I've no problem with that. It's just that on the Raiders side of the ball, there's like he's the end of it. I mean, like these secondary, these really cheap Keelan Cole, dude, how is Keelan Cole beating me? How is Jesper Horsted really beating? I mean, like, you're playing these guys for like they're going to be on the field like 4 times, and hopefully they even get a target, let alone of high value enough one to outscore a kicker or a defense or any of these other guys. It's like there's so many guys like outside the kickers and the defense. You got McKinnon, Moore, Bolden, White, Watson, Gray, Fortson, Abdullah, Horsted, Michael Burton. I mean, like. Dude, if any of these guys, like, what are the chances? Like, I put the chance of one of, like, out of these 1, 2, 3, 4, how many people are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? I don't know if you're going to see much of Jacob Johnson or anything without an injury. I think there's a better than 50% chance that one of these guys scores a touchdown. Like, one of them. I don't know who it's going to be. Right? It could be who knows? It could be Jesper Horsted, play action, tight end corner, right? I mean, then Noah Gray rushing touchdown. I mean, like Jody Fortson shows up with 2 catches and 2 touchdowns. I mean, like it's just so much more likely that one of these guys beats out a kicker or a defense that I'll play these guys at this ownership than play a kicker or a defense at their ownership.
Oh, I completely agree. Like I'd rather play Mac Hollins over, any like the defenses or the kickers. Definitely, it's just the type of game that I think it's gonna be. Like I think it's gonna be a shootout type of game. I would come in if I was 150 today or 50 playing 50 teams today. I would be under the field on defenses for sure. They're pretty high owned. Like, we have them pretty high owned right now. Like, the Chiefs are 17% owned. And I think I wouldn't really have any interest in that. Raiders are coming in at 10% owned. I wouldn't have any interest in that either.
And the kickers are coming in at 20 to 25% owned.
Yeah, I mean, the kickers are just so damn safe, right? Like, but I just don't think they're gonna win you a GPP today. I just highly doubt it.
Now you said it. It has to happen.
Yeah,
thank you for jinxing it. Thank you.
I know.
Of course, Rob, the producer, he's high on MVS. At what point do we stop trying to make MVS happen?
Well, he needs to happen tonight, all right? Because I have him in my team also. So let's have him do one more big game.
Blender, I'm just coming on to say, do not besmirch the name of MVS, our Lord and Savior, for the best ball season of 2022. All right.
I got MVS in one of my 222 lineups, so I'm not. It's not like I'm not anti MVS. It's just that it seems like we're just martingaling this until we break even or something, like until we finally get our money back on playing MVS. We didn't really talk about like Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Josh Jacobs, the running games as much. Would you play lineups? Okay, like my theory of this on some of my lineups, especially with the not playing the captain, the quarterback with the wide receiver captain, that type of thing, is that I'm not sure if Jacobs at 8,800 or CEH at 7,400 make the nut lineup. But if they score a touchdown, I mean, if they vulture, I don't want to call it vulture, they're the top two running backs. But, like, they're the most likely to take touchdown points out of, like, Kelsey and out of Adams, and also out of the quarterbacks, out of Mahomes and Carr. It's not a passing touchdown. That I'm not like high. I'd more likely play Jacobs over CEH, but I just love this middle. I love the Waller, Juju, Renfrow, MVS range right here because it's like such a dramatic difference. Because look, you got Adams and Kelsey up here at like 10-8 and 11-4, and then like half the price of those guys are Waller, Juju, Renfrow, MVS, Hollins, Hardman, I guess, and it's like for these prices on Adams and Kelsey, like they really have to get there. Same for the quarterbacks. And I think that even if Josh Jacobs is sitting there with like 70 yards rushing and a touchdown, like 13 points, maybe a catch, 14 points. ZH has a rushing touchdown and 40 yards rushing only, and he has 10 points. Like, they may not make the optimal lineup, but then, like, Kelsey doesn't have the ceiling game or Adams doesn't have the ceiling game. Mahomes maybe Mahomes doesn't throw for 300. Maybe Carr doesn't throw for 300. Like, I have a lot of lineups that are just like, give me this, right? Give me CH or Josh Jacobs with no quarterback in the lineup, and then let me PPR it to death with Renfrow and Juju and Waller and those guys, and just there you go, right down the middle. No Kelsey, no Mahomes, no Carr, no Adams. Like a lineup like that.
I'm fading Adams in single entry, and that's going to be terrifying. I could be very well logged out in the first quarter.
Oh, Tim, I'm doing the opposite. I'm doing the same scary fade. It's just on the other side of the ball.
Kelsey.
Right. I don't have Kelsey in either of my 222 lines.
Yeah. It's tough, right? I mean, it's tough to play. It's like you have to make a stand in Showdown, and you just can't play everybody. So I'm electing to fade Adams. I'm hoping. So like when Oakland is trailing this year, they have
Las Vegas. By the way, you're in the past.
Oh, I'm sorry. When Vegas is trailing, they pass at one of the heaviest rates in the league. Mm-hmm. So I'm just hoping that they can keep it close today, and that they keep feeding the rock to Jacobs, because if they are trailing, it's going to Adams, right? It's going to Renfrow. It's going to Waller. I'll be in big trouble if it's an absolute onslaught of Chiefs. So it's definitely, it's all about what you want to do with script. And but yeah, I'm fading Adams today, and that's gonna be a scary fade.
Right. I mean, but I have 57 lineups, so I'm not fading anyone. Right. I have one line. Like, dude, I Brandon Bolden in a lineup. I mean, it's like I do have like everyone, but I'm most of my exposure is on Raiders. And it doesn't matter if they're trailing. Like, I just like the production on the Raiders is so much more condensed that I'm just hoping that when the Chiefs score 4 touchdowns, they just go to 4 different people and it's 2 rushing touchdowns. And maybe it's 2 rushing touchdowns. It's not even CEH. It's a Noah Gray rushing touchdown. I mean, like there's so many ways for someone like Mahomes and someone like Kelsey at their prices, because at their prices, you're going to need 20 plus. You're going to need 25. You're going to need 30 points. You know, especially in the captain position. I mean, you're going to need a lot. And I just think there's a lot of ways for these people to get vultured. And I think there's less vulturability on the Raiders side. So to me, like someone like Adams, like you could even, no matter what if the Raiders are behind all game, like Adams could have 15 catches.
I know. I know. Well, I mean, I'm going for a very narrow script, and I feel like, you know, I'm only shooting one bullet, and so I really need this game to go a particular way. And if they're trailing, if the Chiefs are ahead and the Raiders are trailing, I know I'll be in trouble. But that's how it goes, right? I mean, that's what Showdown's all about. You can't just cover all your bases in Showdown. It's just not going to happen. That's not going to be a profitable strategy. You really have to sink your teeth into a certain stand with Showdown.
I'm going to guess your lineup.
All right.
I'm going to get. Oh, this is easy. Oh, it fits 50K perfectly. So you're playing Mahomes at captain with Kelsey, MVS, Juju, Noah Gray, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is welcome to Dupetown.
I don't think so.
I definitely think so. What, are you kidding me? I don't think who else?
No, I agree that it will be duped. I don't think it's going to be duped at a high rate, though.
Not in your contest. No,
like
I said,
that's what I'm saying. That's
right.
what I'm saying.
In a large field, I wouldn't play this because I think it's going to be duped 50, 60, 80 times, something like that. 200-man contest, maybe you're duped twice.
Right. That's all I'm going for. That's what I'm going for, though, really. I mean, I'm not – all my bankroll pretty much is absorbed into these 200-300-man contests. Like, I'm not – I have $15 invested in the Millie Maker or whatever it is tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I don't really care. I don't really care if it's duped 80 times. As long as it's not – I just never want to play that cash game optimal type train in the single entry stuff where it's like 20 guys. You know what I'm saying? 30 guys. You know, I've seen it before where it's like there's 15, 20 people all on the same team in a 200-man contest. I don't want to play that team. You know, that's the team I don't want to play. But in the $15 150 max, I honestly don't really care. That's not where I'm trying to put my money. That's not where I'm trying to make my profit, I guess is what I'm saying.
Dan Janning in chat says, what about an Adams captain with 2 KC running backs and Mahomes with Gray and Hunter Renfrow?
I think that's fine.
My attitude with the running backs, I mean, McKinnon is more. I guess you're right. Mahomes can pass the CEH. I mean, like, dude, it could be that none of the wide receivers get a touchdown, and Mahomes runs one in. CEH catches a screen pass in, and McKinnon gets one of these little the little trick play things or something like that. Gray gets one. And next thing you know, you're looking at Juju and Kelsey. All the wide receivers and the skill position guys are like, we got all the receiving yards, but we didn't get any of the touchdowns. Like, that's viable. I mean, it's not a lineup that I'm playing, but I mean, for a large field, I mean, weird stuff. If you look at your lineup and you're like, I don't get this lineup, like that's a large field lineup. If you're playing smaller field stuff, even the 25, like 222 is 2,500 entries. Yep. I don't have to play that weird. Like Noah Gray is weird for that contest.
What is that? Like a 30 max, 37 max? I can't remember.
It's not what I don't know what it is.
It's not. I mean, it's not 150 though. I don't think.
No. I think it's whatever 3%. What's 3% of 2,500 times 75? So it's a 75.
75. Okay.
I just want to point out the MVS birthday narrative while we're still pre-lock.
Oh, is that the reason? Is that what we're doing? Is it MVS's birthday?
I wasn't gonna say that, but Rob just spoiled it. I mean, that is the reason why I'm playing him. No, not
October 10th,
really.
1994.
Wow.
Why is that not incorporated into the model? Because it shouldn't, because it doesn't matter. I mean, come on. Using birthday narratives or whatever, like, we're going to get into NBA season, and that's going to happen like every other day. Tim, do you actually care? Look, Rob's going to tell me that every time he plays someone on his birthday, he does well, right?
I just want to tell you that, unlike what you just said, MVS's birthday only happens once a year, and it's today. So he's going to score twice. And now I'm done.
Yeah, there's only going to be one day a year that probably MVS does actually score points. So maybe it will.
I had no idea it was his birthday, but now I'm pretty excited he's in my lineup. So, and I'm also pretty excited that I can actually watch this game because the last few primetime games have been so awful that I haven't even watched.
Andre says in chat, and supposedly Mahomes needs 4 touchdowns to tie Aikman, and Aikman is calling the game. Does that mean anything?
Well,
what does he need to 4 touchdowns to tie for what?
I don't know.
I guess that's a narrative. You could come up with any narrative, right?
Oh, yeah, it's just a narrative blunder. I mean, I'm excited. I got Mahomes as my captain. Like, don't black cloud me, blunder.
4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns to MVS.
Right.
But that's not going to be good for your lineup because the MVS captain would be needed.
It's also not going to be good for the Jacobs run back.
Jacobs could be a bell cow. He could catch 7 balls out of the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, he could. I'm really digging Jacobs. I thought about putting Jacobs in as my captain just because he's turning into a true bell cow, and he's catching balls, and it's just I really consider that to be like super contrarian, but I would definitely consider that. Do you have any Jacobs captains?
Yes,
you do,
dude. I played.
You got everything. Yeah,
I mean, my captain pool. I got, I think, 12 different captains. I got Mahomes captain, Adams captain, Kelsey captain, Carr captain, Jacobs captain, CH captain, Waller captain, Juju captain, Renfrow captain, MVS captain, no Matt Collins captain. I think I got 1 Chiefs captain lineup and 1 McKinnon captain.
What do you think your heaviest script is, like in terms of like how you think game is going to go and how you've constructed your teams?
I constructed my teams for a close game, so they're mostly 3-3 and 4 and 3-3 lineups or 4-2 Chiefs with the 4, but all the cheap guys and the 2 expensive rates. So it's like Adams and the captain, Carr and the flex, and then Mahomes and 3 like that type of thing, or no Mahomes or something like that, or 3-3s. But I have more I have more Raiders in the captain than Chiefs in the captain because of the condensed production, right? Yep. So if the Chiefs truck him, I'm done. Like that's right. I need this game to be both quarterbacks get 300 plus yards, and it just comes down to, and Kelsey doesn't get 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Doesn't do the 10 1-1 line.
Right. Yeah. So but I want one quarterback where it's impossible for both quarterbacks to be in the lineup, where they don't score enough to be a captain, but they both score enough that like one with 2 points higher than the other ends up being the winning flex, and it doesn't necessarily. So Mahomes could have the highest quarterback, but Adams is the highest scoring receiver and the highest scoring player on the slate. So like I'm building up. That's why I set that rule. I looked into it. Like, okay, Adams captain, Carr flex, and like no, there are situations where Mahomes totally obliterates Carr, but Adams still is the highest scoring player on the slate. And I thought vice versa with Kelsey. Kelsey scores, but there's rushing touchdowns or something, and then Carr throws 400 yards and 3 touchdowns with the game coming on the other side. So like, I'm not going to make those rules.
Yeah, no, I mean that sounds. See, I think that the 4-2 is going to be the chalkiest. I think that's where you got to be the most concerned about getting duped.
4-2 Chiefs, you mean?
Yeah, 4-2 Chiefs.
No, I agree with you. That's why you throw. That's why you throw in the cheapies. That's why you don't correlate guys. You play 2 running backs or something. Like you're playing some weird lineups. You're playing Matt Collins.
That's why I didn't do like Renfrow in my team. Like I like Renfrow better from a projection standpoint, but I didn't want to I just wanted to take a stand and go with all the primary chief wide receivers. Even though I like Renfrow better from like a straight up projection standpoint, I'm taking a little bit of a risk.
So you have a very tilting lineup when Sky Moore, Jerick McKinnon, and Jody Fortune score. Right? Yeah, like your lineup construction wins. It's just that you had to play like it's Mahomes and captain and 4 of the cheapest Chiefs.
Right. Yes.
Okay, we're at lock. We got the game coming up. Hopefully, it will be entertaining. Tim, you could find at TastefulTides on Twitter. At blenderhd. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We got tons of NFL content this week. We got all the stuff behind the paywall, right? Projections, ownership, premium shows. I do one premium show on Fridays for the main slate. We got tournament stuff and stacks and everything. So hit that link in the description. Sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. Get $10 off your first month. We got NBA coming up, right? NHL starts on Wednesday. I don't play NHL, but we got that also.
2 games slate NHL tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay, we got a 2-game in. Okay, that's fine.
Yep.
So for Tim, I'm Jordan BlenderHd, and this has been another edition of the NFL Pre-Lock Show here on RotoGrinders.com.